Some updates for you on the recovery process in Roswell.
Flash flood warnings for parts of eastern New Mexico. Find out more in my first weather report.
The election is just around the corner. We'll have some kids' perspectives on how they see this election season. All that and more right now.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Thomas Mariscal.
And I'm Emmanuel Olvera. Thank you so much for watching. After deliberating for a short time Thursday, a Lea County jury found a Hobbs man guilty of second-degree murder robbery in the death of then 24-year-old Jordan Reese. According to the Hobbs' new son, Ray Ochoa, Reese was charged with first-degree murder after Jordan Reese was shot in his truck as he left for lunch during his night shift at Walmart in May of 2023. In New Mexico, second-degree murder is punishable by a maximum of 15 years in prison. Prosecutors showed the jury photos from the autopsy showing the 3 gunshot wounds Jordan suffered during the robbery, and reminded the jury of the chase led officers on spanning 4 Texas counties. Ray Reese will be sentenced in December.
Police believe screws and nails were intentionally left on Carlsbad roadways to damage cars and trucks. They are asking the public to help authorities find those who did it. Crime Stoppers of Eddy County is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information leading to an arrest and conviction in the case. A police department news release says the screws were poked through pieces of plastic or cardboard to help keep them vertical, and that could puncture the tires. The authorities say that sharp objects present a significant hazard to both drivers and pedestrians, and that the Carlsbad Police Department is actively seeking any information regarding those responsible for the act.
The Blue Front Fire continues to burn 4 miles west of Alto in Lincoln County. It's in the burn scar of the Blue 2 fire, which burned near Ruidoso this summer. The Forest Service says the blaze has burned close to 400 acres of the Lincoln National Forest. High winds have been hampering efforts by firefighters, including several planes and choppers that have not been able to fly high due to gusts in the area.
Political leaders in New Mexico are calling on the federal government to declare a disaster in Roswell after torrential rains led to massive floods throughout the region. New Mexico's entire congressional delegation, including U.S. Senator Martin Heinrich and the U.S. Representative Teresa Ledger Fernandez, issued a joint letter to President Joe Biden's administration asking for a major disaster declaration that would unlock federal relief funds. Both Senator Heinrich and Congresswoman Ledger Fernandez have toured the devastation in Roswell. News 3 New Mexico spoke to both lawmakers about what they saw and what can be done to help.
So in order to unleash the federal funds that are available from FEMA, the emergency funds, the president has to sign what's called a presidential declaration of disaster. The request for that presidential declaration comes from the state. What the state needs to do is document and show that the damage is so large that the local community can't handle it. I was there. The damage is so large. It is too big for the local community to be able to respond on its own. And this is what the federal government is supposed to do. Work together with the state, work together with the local government to lift people up, to help them rebuild. And that's what's going to happen when he signs that declaration.
We're seeing these extreme weather events more and more often, and we're going to have to step up and be able to meet them head on, because it's, as you know, it's all over the country. I was just talking to a colleague from North Carolina, and he's a Republican, I'm a Democrat. We're working together to try to get small business funding restored so that we can help businesses in all these states reopen and survive these kinds of things. But it's devastating. We're just seeing weather events that are not like what we've experienced in the past.
A disaster declaration would open the door to disaster loans via the Small Business Administration. Businesses of all size, homeowners, renters, and nonprofit organizations could apply for the loans to fund physical repairs, prevent future damage, or recoup operating expenses, according to the SBA website. Well, speaking of these floodings in Roswell, you said there's a chance for more?
There is, and it's not just for Roswell, it's for Dexter and Hagerman as well. As we look at the future radar going in, we see that the storm has not yet built, though it will quickly begin to, starting at 11 p.m. tonight, going into about 5 a.m. in the morning is when they expect it to peak. Because of this, we're expecting heavy hail, flash flood warnings, and a lot of water. Since the ground in Roswell is already saturated as well as Dexter, don't expect that water to soak in like it did before. It's going to flood, and that's the sad truth about it. So be careful, stay out of the water, and if you can't see the road lines, don't drive through it. It's just a safety. We here at News 3 New Mexico pray for those in Roswell as this flood comes. Keep your cars safe and keep your families safe. Back to y'all at the desk.
Election day is on Tuesday the 5th. Many voters are torn about who to fill on their ballot. These young voters may help you make up your mind. Emily Wilbanks has more.
Valencia Elementary School in Portales held a mock election for their 3rd and 4th graders. Many adults can't make a decision this election year, but these students seem to be as confident as possible in their vote.
Because if you vote, you can have something, and it will make you have more freedom, and it will. And if it is a good president, it will help you do stuff, and it will improve how much thing, and it will probably stop the next war from coming, so we don't have to lose any more of our state and no more battles.
Why were you excited?
Because my mom doesn't really like Donald Trump, but I like also somebody else who was president.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I decided to be happy today because my mom said not to be bad in school, so I said yes and yes because I am 10 years old probably.
That I got to vote for Donald Trump since he's my favorite president.
Because I wasn't here yesterday because I was sick, and I'm so excited for the day. I had to wait so I could be 18 or above so I could vote. You have to be 18 or above to vote, or else you will not try to vote, or else you are not allowed to.
Here at News 3, we encourage you to exercise your right to vote. And don't forget, like Liam said, you can only be 18 to vote. For News 3 New Mexico, I'm Emily Wilbanks.
Thank you, Emily. Hopefully those 3rd and 4th graders made you feel as confident as they do about your vote.
Curry County has been awarded a $25,000 grant to purchase and install picnic tables and benches created from recycled turbine blades. The Outdoor Recreation Trails program was created to support projects that enhance community outdoor recreation opportunities, including trail systems, handicap accessible outdoor recreation spaces, and wildlife viewing areas. The new picnic tables, benches, and shade structures will be placed at Reuben E. Neves Courtyard for the community to enjoy.
Dia de los Muertos, otherwise known as Day of the Dead, is tomorrow, November 2nd, and the Steed Todd Funeral Home is hosting an event featuring games, Mexican bingo, and even a mariachi band, along with performances by the Clovis High School Folklorico Dance Group and Zia Elite. The event will kick off at 10 a.m. at the Lawn Haven Memorial Gardens at 1601 East Llano Estacado Boulevard in Clovis, New Mexico. The business invites everyone to come celebrate our ancestors and learn about the sacred holiday.
The Roswell Public Library will be partnering with the Roswell Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to host a Dia de los Muertos on Saturday, November 2nd at 10 a.m. at the Roswell Public Library. The event, a memorial celebration to honor and remember those who have passed, will begin with a blessing for the departed. Members of the community may bring a photo of those who they wish to pay tribute to. Coming up after the break, Lainey will have her full weather report for you.
But first, here's a look at today's financial market.
Welcome back to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Lainey Carluck, here to take you through the weather today. As we look at the radar as it is now, we're seeing that the storm has not yet built, though there are several other storms around the United States, specifically up in Portland, a little bit down in the Texas region near El Paso and Houston, and going up into Minneapolis. These storms are small compared to what is coming to New Mexico, so do be aware. While the storm is not building, we are seeing clouds wanting to start to move in, especially towards Albuquerque, though those will come down towards the Portales-Roswell area. As we can see, these clouds are starting to try to build. The grayness is what is representing, and we do have a little storm, which is going to be the marking point on down here, that will start to come up and move towards us. The flood warning is in effect right now for Curry, Roosevelt, and Chaves County. 1 to 3 inches are expected overall, though 5 inches can be expected in areas, in areas that are isolated. It is between 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. tomorrow, today and tomorrow. However, it will be biggest at 11 p.m. tonight to 5 a.m. tomorrow. Keep those times in mind. Do not be on the roads. Do not even try to leave. If you are trapped, if you are flooded, call emergency services. Some things you can do. Pack a to-go bag so that you're ready to go in need of evacuation. If you're living in an area that has been previously flooded, do think about trying to go to somewhere more elevated, as well as keeping all of your electronics charged so you have access to the outside world if you become trapped. The biggest rule, if you can't see the lines on the road, don't go towards it, and do be aware of hydroplaning. As we look into our current temperatures, resting in the 60s and 70s, 64 in Farmington and 65 in Gallup, with 72 in Portales and 76 in Roswell. Tonight's lows dropping into the 50s, 40s, and 30s. 39 in Farmington, 50 in Portales, and 49 in Roswell. Tomorrow's highs getting up into the 60s and 70s across the state, with the highest at 79 in Carlsbad, 66 in Farmington, 66 in Portales, and 77 in Roswell. Going into our 7-day forecast, as we can expect, rain in Roswell on Saturday, cloudiness on Sunday, and a little bit more rain on Monday with some PM showers there. Going into Carlsbad is also going to be getting some rain Saturday, though those are AM showers. Monday with some windiness, heading into the 70s and 60s going into next week, with 50s and 30s for their lows. Tucumcari is going to be cloudy, but a little bit of rain with a 76% chance on Monday, and a little bit more rain on Thursday at a 58% shower. 60s, 50s, and getting down to 40 on Monday, 47. 47 is looking like on Saturday night, and 30 at their lowest on Wednesday. Finishing off with Portales, we're going to see some cloudiness and some thunderstorms on Saturday, some rain on Thursday in the 60s, 70s, and 50s, and the 40s and 30s for their lows.
All right, thank you so much, Lainey. That was really informative. And for those of you watching, we'll be right back after this break.
The Southeast District of the New Mexico State Organization, Daughters of American Revolution, or NMSODAR, is set to dedicate a marker to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. The event will be held on Veterans Day, November 11th in Roswell, New Mexico, on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn at 1 p.m. The public is warmly invited to commemorate the men and women who achieved American independence. With Election Day approaching, New Mexico saw a big turnout at the Donald Trump rally in Albuquerque.
While Kamala Harris rallied in Reno, here's a look at what each side had to say.
On Thursday, a large crowd gathered in Albuquerque for a rally led by former President Donald Trump. With the election just days away on November 5th, supporters came to hear Trump outline his key priorities as he engages with voters nationwide.
With your vote in this election, I will end inflation. I will stop the massive invasion of criminals into your state. And I will bring back the American dream.
President Trump's speech touched on economic policy, national security, and his vision for the country's future, drawing strong responses from attendees in support of his platform.
I am here because I represent the Lord, and I'm called to follow where the Lord is calling me, and so I'm standing up for what I believe in, and I believe Trump does the best job at following biblical manner and following Jesus Christ.
I was undecided. I voted differently in the last election, so I'm going to mix it up this election as well. But I need to see some things and I need to hear some things. Unfortunately, the media that's portraying both candidates, either for the good or for the bad, I wanted to see for myself. So that's why I'm here.
Rally drew notable figures including Yvette Harrell, former U.S. representative and current candidate, along with Senate candidate Nella Domenici and former Vice President of the Navajo Nation, Myron Lizer. While the Albuquerque rally marked a significant gathering, Kamala Harris held a separate rally in Reno, Nevada on the same day, where she spoke to supporters about their administration's achievements.
Because if elected, Donald Trump on day one would walk into that office with an enemies list. When I am elected, I will walk in with a to-do list.
Political figures from both parties had different point of views regarding President Trump's rally in Albuquerque.
You have two different mindsets. You have one that's just trying to lift people up, trying to continue forward what the Biden administration has done, whatever that may be, the Infrastructure Act, his CHIPS Act, whole host of things, what he's done for health care, mental health care in New Mexico, and the other side doesn't offer any of that.
Mostly Trump is going to talk about the economy, and that is one of the most important things, especially here in New Mexico, where our economy is one of the least in the country. So I believe him coming here talking about his policies is going to be mostly on the economy, mostly on the border, which is a big problem here in New Mexico.
As New Mexico prepares to head to the polls on November 5th, rallies and campaign stops like these reflect each party's efforts to reach voters and shape discussions leading up to Election Day. For News 3 New Mexico, I'm Josh Gonzalez.
As Election Day nears, both parties are urging voters to make their voices heard and get out to vote.
November is Native American Heritage Month, and Eastern New Mexico's University's Office of Native American Affairs celebrates with numerous events, speaking engagements, and music programs on campus. Scheduled events to help celebrate Native American Heritage Month includes a concert from the Levi Platero Band, a Navajo sand painting workshop, a Native artist market encouraging students to rock your mocks during the week of November 12th through the 18th. All events are open to the public and to ENMU community. For a listing of each event, time, and location, please visit www.enmu.edu/events. Coming up after the break, Lorenzo will have his full sports report for you, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Lorenzo Solis. Let's take a dive into the sports world. Women's volleyball and men's soccer are looking forward to their next games tomorrow. Women's volleyball is making their stride against Sul Ross State Lobos and the Lobos tomorrow at 2 p.m. And the Lady Hounds are hungry for another win as they had quite the rough season. This game is looking promising, however, as they have already proven they can take down the Lobos with their 3-1 score they achieved earlier this year against them. This exciting matchup will be right at home at the Steve Loy Family Foundation Arena at 2 p.m. Men's soccer is looking forward to their next matchup on Saturday against Midwestern State at 6 p.m. The men's soccer team has had a very tight season with 4 wins, 5 draws, and 6 losses, proving the Lone Star Conference has been a tough but exciting one to pay attention to. And with only 2 games left to go in the season, they will surely be fighting for that next win. The Greyhound football team is preparing for their next game tomorrow, where they visit Alpine, Texas to go up against Sul Ross State. The Hounds managed to beat them this year with a score of 36-17 coming off their win against West Texas this past Saturday. The Hounds are hungry to keep their winning streak alive. With only 3 games left in the conference, the Greyhounds are sure to make this end of the season an interesting one to watch. The Major League Baseball World Series wrapped up this past Wednesday with Los Angeles Dodgers beating out the New York Yankees in their final matchup with a score of 7-6. This is despite the New York Yankees dealing out 3 home runs from players Aaron Judge, Jazz Chisholm Jr., and Giancarlo Stanton, and none from the Dodgers. The Dodgers fans everywhere were excited for this World Series victory since their previous take-home of the title in 2020. Touching down in the NFL last night on Thursday, we had the Houston Texans versus the New York Jets down at MetLife Stadium. With no scoring in the first quarter, the Texans took the lead in the second quarter to put them ahead for the first half thanks to the running back Joe Mixon. However, the New York Jets were able to come back in a latter half of the game, scoring 3 touchdowns thanks to Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, taking home the win with a score of 21-13. This puts Houston Texans at their 3rd loss, while the New York Jets claim their 3rd win this season. That's all the sports I have for you tonight. We'll be back at the desk after the break.
Welcome back. Lainey, can we have one quick last look?
Sure, how about it? We're looking at Carlsbad to starting out at 65 on Friday, 68 on Saturday with a little bit of cloud coverage, and full cloud coverage on Sunday at 65. Roswell coming in at cloudy for all 3 days, Friday 74, Saturday 74, and Sunday at 70. And finally, with Portales, cloud coverage for Friday and Saturday and a sunny day on Sunday with 77, 75, and 74.
That sun is looking great for us this weekend. That is all the news we have for you tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.
you.